Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is.
Welcome back, guys. We got some breaking news that has just come out about Social Security. Major overhaul with regard to Social Security shakeup that could cost you thousands. And it looks like DOGE, Elon Musk's DOGE, or I don't know if you want to call it Donald Trump's DOGE, looks like it is right in the center of it. We've actually got a lot of updates that I want to share with you guys. In fact, Elon Musk's Social Security remark rebuked by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I know a lot of you guys think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a hothead. We're going to get into AOC's comment. She's not happy about what Elon Musk is doing. She's not happy about what DOGE is doing with regard to the audit, with regard to Social Security. And a lot of folks are concerned about whether or not this is going to negatively impact their checks. And let's be honest, anytime you hear about changes, it's like, okay, is this change going to be good? Is this change going to add money to my check? Is it going to add money to my Social Security or SSI or SSDI check? We're going to get down to the bottom of this in today's video. If you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Really appreciate you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, Elon Musk called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. And this is sparking lots of Democratic concerns over key benefits. This is likely what set AOC off. This is also likely what brought Bernie Sanders out of hiding to share his opinion on what they're doing with Social Security. Let me know if you guys think that what DOGE is doing with Social Security is going to add money to your check, or if you think Social Security will be cutting out smaller checks as a result of these changes. So this is going to be huge, guys. Make sure to share this video with someone who's receiving Social Security or maybe has applied for Social Security benefits. Because a lot of folks are going to be affected, and some of this information is actually time sensitive. So without further ado, drop a quick comment. If you think Social Security is going to increase because of DOGE, type in increase. If you think your Social Security check is going to decrease, just type in decrease. All right, guys. So jumping right in real quick, 5 Social Security offices in Georgia will close. Now, this is kind of odd. Now, I don't know if this is odd because we've actually seen a lot of federal jobs being let go, fired, layoffs over at the federal government, and Social Security is also a federal benefit. So, but many people who have called into Social Security have complained about how long they have to hold. Sometimes you can't even get through. Maybe the line drops after you're waiting for 45 minutes. It's ridiculous, right? So let me know if you think closing 5 Social Security offices in Georgia is going to hurt the customer service. But also let me know if you think that closing some of these offices was a good move. Maybe you could free up some capital to be able to have more money available to pay out to Social Security recipients. It looks like the offices that they're going to be closing are in Brunswick, Columbus, Gainesville, Thomasville, and Vidalia.
Following some breaking news just into our newsroom involving Social Security offices here in Georgia. The Trump administration just announcing to permanently close 5 offices here in our state. Those offices are located in Brunswick, Columbus, Gainesville, Thomasville, and Vidalia. Senator Raphael Warnock is speaking out against this decision, saying Georgia is taking a bigger hit than other states. Warnock says this move will make it harder for seniors, especially in rural areas, by limiting access to benefits, fraud reporting, and payment assistance. He went on to say he is fighting to reverse that decision and make sure Georgia's seniors get the benefits they paid into for decades.
So what are your thoughts, guys? Do you think Donald Trump shutting down these 5 Social Security offices in Georgia is really going to impact seniors and access to their payments? Let me know what you think on that one, because I don't know if I'm convinced. But check this out. So Warnock says that the closures will make it harder for Georgia seniors, especially in rural areas, to access Social Security benefits, resolve payment issues, and report fraud. Why would this affect Social Security? Why would this affect access to Social Security benefits? Most people are getting direct deposits, number one, so that's automatic. And number two, I think rarely people are getting checks, but even the checks should be automatic. So I almost feel like they're trying to scare people into panicking over these Social Security office closures. But check this out. The closures come as the Social Security Administration's SSA prepares for significant workforce reductions. The agency is planning to lay off at least 7,000 employees, with some estimates indicating cuts could reach as high as 50%. Wow, that's a lot of people going to be unemployed. While it remains unclear how these layoffs will directly impact the 72.5 million Americans who receive Social Security benefits, advocates and lawmakers warn that reduced staffing could make it harder for recipients to get timely assistance. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of assistance you need. But let me know what you guys think about that one. But check this out. So Elon Musk calls Social Security a Ponzi scheme, sparking Democratic concerns over key benefits. Now, again, AOC, she does tend to be a hothead, and I get it. But I think Elon Musk is the cooler of the two, and he tends to bring more facts than the left does. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let's see. So Elon Musk takes the center stage. They're saying that he's not a nominated confirmed cabinet member. President Trump asked Elon Musk to speak first. But check this out. So Elon Musk, he's sharply criticized Social Security in a Friday podcast with Joe Rogan during an interview, labeling the critical elder benefits program a Ponzi scheme. Now, notice the wording on that one, right, guys? So Elon Musk, who is the world's richest man and an increasingly powerful advisor to President Trump, also described the federal government as one big pyramid scheme. Elon Musk is a leading figure in the administration's efforts, largely through the Department of Government Efficiency, to cut costs and dismantle the federal bureaucracy. Social Security, which dates back to the 1930s, and former President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal social programs, uses funds collected from workers' paychecks to pay small monthly benefit checks to retirees, disabled Americans, and others. Now, the CEO of companies, including Tesla and SpaceX, argued that the U.S. better fix its entitlement systems because birth rates have fallen and post-retirement life expectancy has increased. So what does this mean, guys? What this means is that if there are fewer people being born, then that means that there are going to be fewer people paying into the system. But at the same time, he's saying that the post-retirement life expectancy has increased. So it's almost like a double whammy. You got fewer people being born that will eventually get jobs and work and pay into the Social Security system. So that will be less revenue. But then you have people who are living longer through the post-retirement life expectancy indication that it's increased. So you have less people who are going to be paying in, and then you have more people who are going to be living longer, needing more money. So it's not looking good there. They're saying that there are fewer babies being born, the billionaire said on the mega popular podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast, of course. And you have more people who are retired that live for a long time and get Social Security payments. So, I mean, you can't argue with the data, I guess, Elon Musk previously claimed that tens of millions of dead Americans are receiving benefits. Now, the Associated Press is saying that his comments were overstated and misrepresent Social Security data. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you trust Elon Musk or do you trust Associated Press? Because according to what we've been hearing, there are people who are like anywhere from 112 to 300 years old collecting Social Security checks. I think something fishy is definitely going on there, if you ask me. But get this, guys. So a top Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson addressed the remarks Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press. He argued that any Elon Musk-led efforts to scrutinize Social Security will focus on fraud, waste, and abuse. The agency's independent watchdog found in 2024 of August that between fiscal year 2015 and 2022, less than 1% of its payments were improper. Okay. Well, that's a minority of the payments, but still, we need to get that back, right? And I actually do want to share a clip with you guys from who was it? From Mike Johnson. Here we go.
All right. Well, I do want to talk about the big budget bill that passed through the House. Your plan calls for almost $900 billion over the next 10 years in cuts from the Energy and Commerce Committee. As you know, it's going to be nearly impossible to reach that level of cuts without touching entitlements. I know you have been asked this before, Mr. Speaker, but I need to get you on the record here again. Are cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security off the table?
Yes, and don't take my word for it, Kristen. Go do a word search of the budget resolution that we passed on Tuesday. There is not one mention of Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. It's not in the bill because we haven't set the policy. What we're trying to do is get America back on sound fiscal ground. We have a $36 trillion federal debt and ballooning deficits. The Republican Party is the party of fiscal responsibility. The American people want us to review the expenditures of the country and get our fiscal house in order, and that's what we must do. At the same time, we've got to extend the Trump-era tax cuts so we can make sure that every American does not receive the largest tax increase in U.S. history at the end of this year. We have very serious work. We can do both of those things simultaneously and not affect benefits for anyone who relies upon those and is eligible to receive them. President Trump's been crystal clear about this, and we have as well. But in those programs, you have lots of inefficiencies. In Medicaid, for example, there's an estimated $50 billion a year that is lost in fraud alone. We've got to clean that up, and the people want us to do it. That's what we're talking about, ensuring efficiencies, ensuring that the programs are strengthened so that they can remain solvent and help the people they're intended to help.
Well, that definitely sounds like good news for Social Security, if you ask me. It doesn't sound like they're looking to cut Social Security. And if we can avoid another tax hike, the working class Americans would be very, very happy with that. Heck, even retired Americans receiving Social Security, because I don't get Social Security checks yet. I do hope Social Security will be there when I'm ready to retire. But I do hear that folks who are on Social Security are being taxed. So the last thing that we would want is for folks on fixed income getting Social Security checks having more tax taken out. Let me know if you get taxes taken out your Social Security check. Let me know. And also let me know if you guys are able to hear me okay. I know I probably should have asked that question much earlier in our live.
So you say there won't be any cuts to entitlements, but on Friday, Elon Musk, who President Trump has, of course, put in charge of making cuts all across the government, called Social Security, quote, the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Mr. Speaker, is that a sign that Social Security is Elon Musk's next target?
No, well, I've met with Elon about this multiple times. We meet late into the night in his office, and we've looked at that. What he's finding with his algorithms crawling through the data of Social Security system is enormous amounts of fraud, waste, and abuse.
So it's a target.
Wow.
It is a target.
That. The American people want us to. No, Kristen, don't put words in my mouth. What I am saying is we have a moral responsibility to ensure that those programs are conducted in a way that does not allow for this massive fraud and abuse. And that's what he is finding. He's finding, for example, that one Social Security number can be assigned to dozens or maybe hundreds of people, so that every time there's a check distribution, it goes to all those different addresses. There was no safeguard in the existing software, the Social Security, to prevent that from happening. That is.
Holy cow. Did you guys hear that? One Social Security number could be assigned to up to hundreds of people, and the Social Security system wasn't smart enough to know that when it came time to cut a check for that Social Security number, they could possibly cut 100 different checks to 100 different addresses. This is crazy, guys. Did you guys catch that? This is wild.
It's outrageous. And when these examples are presented to the American people, they're going to be on the side of DOGE and Elon, President Trump, and the Republicans in Congress. And we look forward to cleaning that up.
So, I asked earlier if you guys think that DOGE is going to end up, once DOGE, and also Mike Johnson did a really good job of keeping Kristen from putting words in his mouth, because she wanted to use targeting and she kept trying to use targeting, but he caught her. Do you think DOGE is going to end up adding money to Social Security, like Social Security benefits? Do you think that your Social Security check could increase as a result of DOGE? I think that's a better way of asking it. Do you think that your Social Security check could increase as a result of DOGE, or do you think DOGE is going to end up costing you more of your Social Security benefits, and it would actually be more harmful to you? Let me know what you guys think on that. But yeah, so this is Elon Musk's next. They like to use the word entitlement. What do you guys think about the word entitlement? Is Social Security entitlement to you? Elon Musk's Social Security remark rebuked by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Billionaire Elon Musk called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time during an interview with podcaster Joe Rogan released on Friday, drawing criticisms and warnings from Democrats, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Well, let's see what Elon Musk said exactly here.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay.
This is scary. This really kind of goes back to what we were just talking about, how there are fewer people being born that could pay into the system, and there are going to be far more people living longer depending on those revenues that would be coming in from workers. And Elon Musk literally hit it on the head right there.
There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. What? So
no one's talking about this, guys. This could destroy America. So here we are thinking that our national debt is like $36 trillion, and it could be more like $72 trillion, according to Elon Musk. Oh my God.
Basically, people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government,
it would only get worse.
Much worse in the future.
Holy cow. This is unbelievable. This is, man, if you don't share this video with someone who needs to hear this, that is craziness, guys. This is craziness. But we also need to hear from Bernie Sanders. We all know Bernie Sanders is a huge Social Security supporter, advocate, and outrageous is the word mentioned. Senator Bernie Sanders responds to Elon Musk calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme. Well, it sounds like what Elon Musk is doing is basic math, but let's hear what Bernie Sanders has to say about this here.
Let me ask you about Social Security. And you raised Elon Musk, Senator, so let me follow up with you on this very point, because he's made some very pointed comments about Social Security. I referenced it earlier in the broadcast. This was to Joe Rogan. I'd like you to hear it and get your reaction on the other side. Take a look.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Basically, people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
Senator, President Trump says he's not going to touch Social Security. Elon Musk calls it a Ponzi scheme. Do you agree?
No, I think what Musk, the wealthiest guy in the world, just said is totally outrageous. That's a hell of a Ponzi scheme when for the last 80 years, Social Security has paid out every nickel owed to every eligible American. Quite a Ponzi scheme. What is in fact a problem is that if we don't make reforms and improve the funding mechanism, in the next 9 years, the Social Security Trust Fund, which provides about 20% of the funding, will go broke. So what we have got to do, and I think most Americans agree, and I've just introduced legislation to do that, is you lift the cap on taxable income. Right now, Musk, worth $400 billion, contributes the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund as somebody making $170 million. You lift that cap, we can extend the solvency of Social Security for 75 years, and you can raise benefits. Kristen, right now in America, half of elderly people are trying to get by on $30,000 a year, 20.
Okay, like Bernie Sanders goes off the rails here clearly. I don't know if I've ever seen him having a good day. He always seems like really upset, but he immediately attacks Elon Musk for being one of the richest men in the world. Okay, I don't know how that's really relevant to this conversation. But Bernie Sanders also hit on a point that Social Security has never missed a payment ever or something like that. Well, Elon Musk never said that Social Security had missed payments. He just said it was a Ponzi scheme, and essentially that the Social Security program is unsustainable the way it's currently designed and being run. So I feel like Bernie Sanders is just really mad for whatever reason, and he's not really addressing what Elon Musk is saying. I think it's pretty clear that Bernie Sanders, he had his own agenda and he went left off of that. But nevertheless, I think all Americans agree, including Elon Musk, that there needs to be some Social Security reforms, and the system as it is not going to be able to continue. Now, Bernie Sanders says that Social Security has never, ever missed a payment. Okay, I'm sure that's true. The thing is, though, we do have $36 trillion in debt. So the thing you have to remember is, even if a system has never missed a payment, it doesn't mean that it's solvent. And if it's insolvent, maybe what's happening, and I think it's pretty clear that this is happening, is that it's going into debt. Not necessarily Social Security at this very moment, but it will if it continues. But there are other programs that we have that are also insolvent. So if we spend more than we're bringing in forms of tariffs and tax revenues, this is essentially how we end up in the debt. The national debt that we have is a result of overspending in comparison to our income. It's kind of like no different than if you're a family of 5 or a family of 4, you bring in $75,000 a year, but you're spending $100,000 a year. You're in the hole. You have a $25,000 per year deficit, and this is basically what the United States is doing. But yeah. So let me know your thoughts, guys. This is wild. I think it is obvious that some serious changes need to take place with Social Security. Otherwise, it's going to create a world of hurt for folks. NPR, Social Security Administration says it's going to cut some 7,000 jobs. 7,000 jobs, guys. 7,000 jobs. The agency plans to reduce the size of its bloated workforce and organizational structure with a significant focus on functions and employees who do not directly provide mission-critical services. Social Security recently set a staffing target of 50,000, down from the current level of approximately 57,000 employees. Wow. Folks are going to get some unexpected notices here. You no longer work here. Advocates say long wait times for services have plagued the agency for years, and its current staffing is around a 50-year low. Ahead of the looming broader cuts, a number of senior staff members have departed the SSA, including at least 5 of 8 people in the influential role of regional commissioner, according to a staffing memo shared by NPR by a senior SSA official who was not authorized to speak to the press. That person's probably going to get fired too. Oh my God. Rich Couture, spokesperson for AFGE SSA General Committee, a union representing roughly 42,000 Social Security workers, told NPR AFGE is adamantly opposed to any mass layoffs of its workers, whether frontline or support staff. Frontline workers directly support beneficiaries, the number of whom, he said, increases by 10,000 people daily. Whew. Well, guys, drop me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm going to keep you guys posted on the latest updates with regard to Social Security. If you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.